Speaking of students, we're joined tonight by some who just attended our latest training institute, our Live and Free Training Institute class. I was thinking, what am I going to do this week? What am I going to do this week? I wonder, maybe I could pull them in, some of them in, and find out, this, because rarely do I talk to people. Sometimes it's 3 months later, 6 months later, really do our people talk to people right away. And we had to break up so soon. They had to get out of town. We had to get back. So let me get 4 or 5 of them back and talk about the 3 days they spent with us learning the Alive and Free prescription. So we are joined tonight by, as soon as I say your name, put your hand in the air so everybody knows who you are. We are joined by Ken Sinclair. Ken, there you are.
Evening, doctor. Hello, Ann, Miss Lady.
What's up? Brandon Shell. There he is.
How y'all doing? How's everybody doing?
All good, all good, all good, all good. Toyra, Tate.
Hi everyone.
Good evening.
How you kings and look? How you kings and queens?
Well, I'm glad you use them other words. That's one of the first lessons that we taught. Antoine Watt.
Hello, everybody. How y'all
Good
doing?
evening.
Happy Halloween.
Oh,
And
let me put my
Aaron-
mask back on. See?
And Aaron Wood.
How y'all doing tonight?
Good evening.
All good, Aaron. Thank all of you. Stefan, I think is guest. Stefan's the guest. He won't want to show his face. He just listened, right? I wanted Stefan to, because he was there the whole time. Stefan from San Diego, California. Thank you for, I pulled this together quick. I want to thank all of you for joining tonight and to talk a little. Well, happy Halloween, first of all of you. I don't know if you saw the first segment. My son was in some whole Larry Blackman cameo movie. He dressed up like that and he couldn't stop, so we couldn't even have a serious out. So I'm actually glad he's gone for now. So we can actually do the show because he'll come back as
You could do that show with him in his costume. Come on, Dr. Marshall.
no, and not with him dancing around and singing Single Life.
I'm sorry. It's Halloween. I'm sorry, y'all.
It's
I know
okay.
that's right.
I'm keeping my camera off. Thank you, brothers. Coming bringing some serious knowledge to the show tonight because I'm over here on Halloween. So thank you.
Okay. Let me explain to everybody what we do for about a number of years now. We've been doing what we call the Alive and Free Training Institute. And this came about because as we began to work with people like Angel, you just saw her video, work with young people over the years, we felt that we had a formula. Later, we began to call it a methodology. And then we put it in health terms and we called it a prescription. We felt there was a method to the madness. And once we, discovered it and put it all together, we made it a permanent part of our work with young people. And you heard a little bit about Angel talking about the germs, and she was talking about the, insidious and bad advice and bad information. That's part of the Alive and Free prescription. But once we said, wow, we got something here, let's then begin to share with other people. And for years, we have been doing what we call the Alive and Free Training Institute, where we teach folks, share with folks the Alive and Free prescription. They come and spend 3 days with us and we cram it. We just, boom, we hit them, boom, 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 with it all. Just put it in there and then send them on their way, but always to be in touch with them. And, we try to give it to them so they can go back to where they are and work with young people and give this prescription to them. So this thing is for a lot of folks is very new, it's very different. We begin with the disease of violence and then run from there with it and cover just about everything else. So this is our latest group. It was about 20 of them. We have 5 of them here. 3 of them, 6 came from Seattle, Washington. 3 of the folks in Seattle are here. And 2 are from work with a program called Safe Return in Richmond, California. So yeah, let's jump into it. How you feeling? How you doing? How you buzzing? What's resonating? How did you enjoy? Let me just start. Ken, how did you overall enjoy just to feel about those 3 days? Just an opening statement. Let's do opening statements here, okay? We'll get down to specifics because there's really one thing. I remember a bunch of things I want to ask you about. Oh, Lady E, you want to say hi to everybody? I'll let you say hi. I'm sorry. I'm just ready to do
No, that's
the show.
okay, because I said with each introduction, I said good evening to everybody when they introduce themselves.
Okay.
So yeah, but again, good evening, welcome. It's good to see you back.
Okay, Ken, opening statement. How'd you feel about those 3 days? And thank you for being there.
How you doing, Doctor? Hello, Ann. Miss Lady, how you doing? Powerful, inspirational, motivating. I mean, I can go on and on. It was definitely one of the most intriguing trainings I've ever participated in. Very informational, very informational.
All right, good opening statement. Toyra?
Well, you already know we had to go back to Seattle, so we was in that airport. We had a delayed flight, so we was going back and forth with the destructive language, among us. And yeah, they was correcting me and I was correcting them, and so it was getting into us. And then once we landed, it's like the next morning, me and Ken is on the phone and we're talking, and he said something. I said, "Oh, remember what he said?" And then I said something. I was like, "Oh man, we just gonna be correcting each other for a while."
Right.
And it's just going that way. So I mean, I even was telling my boss, I was like, "Man, boss, I think you're doing a lot of fearship, you know what I'm saying, and not friendship."
Right.
I was hitting him with some words and he was just like hitting me with the heart. So I'm like feeling it. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get on this. So we about to be untouchable up here in the 206.
Right. Right.
Brandon.
I mean, I think I did a lot of trainings, right? And I tell people this is kind of like the best training. I think if you're doing this work, you should come and take this training. It makes you look in the mirror at yourself and say, how can I help them if I don't first help myself? So that's what I got out this training. I think it made me turn the mirror back around and look at me and try to get my best self forward so I can help the young people I serve. I also want to say Khalid Adams is on here, so 4 of us from Seattle. So it's 4 of us.
I'm just noticing. I thought I saw him. Was he was there, right? Okay, that's what I thought. Hey, the more the merrier. As long as you can see you on my screen, is good. Okay, then I go to you, Khalid. Khalid? Your opening statement.
For me, it was just it was like to piggyback kind of off what Brandon was saying, just more of a reflection of self, understanding that if you look at it as an infection, then are you infecting people or are you healing people, And then not only that, but just knowing that you got to take your daily doses, like vitamins. Every day you got to take your vitamins. You're going to strengthen that immune system to deal with the infection that you have, and the infection to be able to have the blockage, almost like the vaccine from the people that do still have it. So it was really a reality check, and I like everybody should have it. Everybody needs a dose of this vitamin C.
They just got her a booster shot, so she understands that. She got the boost. She got
Booster
the
shot.
got it.
Not a booster
She's
shot.
trying to fight off that COVID no matter what. Aaron.
For me, definitely reflection, dealing with the risk factors and stuff like that. I felt like the 3 days was definitely something to be there for, but I definitely felt like we needed more days with it, because that was a lot of information to digest in 3 days.
It is. Yeah. Okay. Antonio. Antoine. I don't know what, she wrote your name down as Antonio, and I'm like, Is that right? Is that right? So I had to go back and change it.
Yeah, it's Antoine. Like Aaron said, doing 3 days went by kind of fast. I definitely want some more. It was a lot of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? For myself and for me to be able to help others, it was a pleasure. It was a blessing. It was like a real blessing, you know what I'm saying? For me, I needed it, I'm going through a lot in life. One of my biggest things was emotional residue, so
Yeah.
I'm still, and I still look at my prescription.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Step 3 in the treatment process, deal with the emotional residue of anger, fear, and pain. Absolutely. By the way, Aaron, the training used to be 4 days. It used to be 4 days. And it's tough to get people, to take 4 days off of work. I mean, that's a lot. So, and then we did some other things then too, while people were here, because a lot of folks come from out of town, like they came from Seattle. But we condensed it to 3, and you're right, it is a lot of information, and that's why we try and do, follow up with folks, and because and Stefan, who is the guest underneath there. Stefan, you there? You want to say hi before or you just
He's
gonna?
not the guest.
Huh?
No, there he is. I don't know who the guest is, but no, Stefan is visible.
Oh, he is? Okay.
Yes, he is.
Stefan, say hi.
I just want to say hi, everybody. Looking forward to this show, and looking forward to hear what you have to say. It's good to see all of you guys again.
And I use you because I remember my brother took the training and he didn't know what to do. He has all this information. And I always say, the more you use it, the more you study it, the better you get at it. And I use the example of Bible study all the time. People who they go to Bible study and they read the Bible like a million times, but they continue to study it so they can get, how they say, burst in the word. So the more you study it, the more you get it. You have conversations about it. And Stefan is probably the best example because, like I say, Stefan, what is it, Stefan? You've been to how many trainings now?
Somewhere close to 30, not over 30 trainings.
and so he does his alive and free study all the time. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. And the funny thing is, I asked each of you, all of you, how many of you did not like school when you were growing up? And almost everybody raised their hand. And I said, well, you're getting ready to go to school. And I didn't lose anybody. So either, the material was good, or hopefully the teacher wasn't boring, or whatever it was. But I just want to say all of you were just wonderful, wonderful students, just great. I mean, I'm exhausted when it's over because I put a lot into it, but it could have gone an extra day for me too, just for us to converse and go over stuff, and folks had to get out of there. So let's just start with the whole concept of this is very different because the whole violence as a disease and the whole thing of people getting infected. When you first heard that, how long did that because that was a new thing. How long did it take in the beginning, the first day, for that to begin to make a little bit of sense to you? And anybody can just jump in and speak at any time. That whole violence as a disease, I mean.
Immediately.
For me, it resonated real fast. Like Ken was saying, it just, when you flip it and you look at it like that, you see yourself. The most important part of seeing yourself as infected. Like, wow, I am infected. Like, I knew something was up. Like, I'm not slow. I know I'm a good person, but I've done things because based off what I felt like was my conditions, but really it was an infection. You know what I'm saying? And you look at it and you see it. It changes a lot. It changes your perspective on a lot of things and a lot of situations and a lot of people.
I mean, then not only that, it's how many people did you spread that infection to?
Yeah.
Along the line and what you was doing.
Yeah.
So part of, getting the cure for that infection and going back out, giving it back to society is kind of like curing what we put out there.
Anybody else want?
How you
Go
say
ahead.
the treatment without the medicine?
Yeah,
The testimony.
yeah.
Like, to me, it was, hello, can you hear me? Yeah, to me, it was just about like, you know, being cautious of what's effective and what's destructive, you know, like, so that when you, as you receive the information coming in, you're aware of what can be, you know, destructive to you and your community, and what's infectious to you and your community. So if you're conscious and you're aware and you can kind of cipher that information, what's medicine and what's virus, you know, like if you first can be able to distinguish what that information is coming in and the difference between the two, then you can spread that medicine as to spreading the virus, because you're not even sure how to process the information you're receiving. With Alive and Free, it kind of helps you to understand, you know, the information that you're receiving so you can distinguish the two. And that's important to rebuild, you know, uplift a community and to rebuild anything in yourself. You know, like first you got to understand the information that you're receiving. And is it helpful to your growth, development, and trying to help rebuild this community? Or are you actually spreading the virus unconsciously, you know? So it's just powerful. Yeah, it's just powerful. It's just powerful.
Yeah. You know, that a lot of you, I remember when I said, you got homework Monday night. You're like, no.
Right.
He really is in school. We're making us do homework.
Right.
And the whole thing, the key to that assignment is, you know, when and how you got infected, looking at the infection in yourself. And, you know, I read your papers. You know, sometimes we read them to each other, but you know, that was a crazy last day with half the group being gone, the other half coming in. We had to, like, I didn't even eat that day. I had to do it through my lunch. But doing that assignment that night and looking back at how you got infected with the disease of violence, how was that for each of you, just personally?
It kind of like opened up my wound again. Like, man, it just really made me realize that being that my dad is not here no more, I can't even go back and talk to him about it, but let him know that, Dad, all this time I thought it was this, but it was really this, and you was infected. You know what I'm saying? And it was like with the alcohol, I was thinking it was just the alcohol, but no, my dad was infected with other stuff besides just the alcohol. So he was going through something that made him react the way he reacted, to where it inflicted on me. And now here it is, I have 2 daughters, and it had me think like, dang, I did the same thing to my daughter. But I wasn't no alcoholic, I wasn't on drugs, you know, it was more the violence part. As far as when I used to get whoopings, how they whoop me is like, I thought that this is how I'm supposed to whoop my kids.
Right.
So I did that to my oldest daughter, but then I realized that's not the way, and I didn't do it to my second daughter. So now I'm facing the 2 battling, saying, hey, Mom, you did this when I was growing up, but you're not doing this, you know, to her when she's growing up. I'm like, oh my goodness, baby, that was wrong. I'm sorry. So I inflicted a lot of pain on her. So it just made me realize and open up, like, I'm sorry. So I have to go back to my loved ones and let them know I was infected and didn't realize it, and I apologize and learn from my mistakes and go from there. Yeah. So then my daughter won't pass this on to her daughter and her 2 sons. Yeah. You know how they say that generational curse, someone got to break that cycle. Yeah. So with me, I have a 31 and a 22-year-old, so I want my 2 daughters, you know, not to experience what I thought was the norm.
Yeah, the norm. That's a good way to look at it. Someone else, how did that assignment?
It's crazy because, like Toyra was saying, it's just looking and seeing how it's generations of bad advice. Yeah. You know, you think that it's good advice, you know, the strong survive and all these bad advices, you know, and like she said, you got to break the cycle, because I've been given that same bad advice that's been passed down, you know, and so that that's very powerful when you go back and you have to look at that and see, well, okay, well, where did infection start? And then that from then on, it's been bad advice, and understanding that you have to break all those cycles of what you thought was good advice that was really just game, just to reach the ceiling of the basement. You know what I'm saying? And so now you understand that what good advice really is.
Yeah.
You know, and even though it seems you make it, Dr. Marshall, you make it sound so good, like it's just common sense, but you know, we understand that it's more than that, because we've been trained with so many years of bad advice that we believe it's real. Like you said, the Matrix, you know, and you got to enter the phone to get in it. It really is like that, where they made a fake world seem real, and then the real world seem fake, you know? And so I understand that, and that's heavy.
I just need to say to Toyra, the power in what you just shared, and how you took that information and you moved it all the way through to stop, to see, to stop, to break, and just embrace your children with love. And you know, we as parents, how many times did we hear our parents say, I'm sorry? And the power and the healing that happens as a result of that. And then I want you to know, just saying what you said, even though you said you may not be able to see dad's face to let him know, hey, I understand. But those words are not lost. You said it out loud. And so that's not lost. Just because you don't see his face doesn't mean his spirit did not get that message. Okay? So what you said was powerful, baby.
Thank you. I received that.
And how you get to have a daughter 31. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Let me.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Got some good genes now. Come on now. You know what they say about us. Don't play.
I'm not playing.
Right. She said, I'm not playing.
But the power in what you guys are saying and sharing is just amazing. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Aaron, what about you? What was that assignment like that first night, looking back at when and how you got infected?
It's funny because I'm one of them students that raised my hand that didn't like school, still don't like school. So, I mean, it was interesting because, you know, facing myself and my past, you know, dealing with the emotional residue of that, because it opened up some wounds. But going through this course, I realized that, you know, it's something that they was taught, you know, so they only did what they was shown.
Right.
You know, you can't do no better if you don't know no better. So I walked away relieved, you know what I'm saying, with that understanding.
Yeah, I like that. Antonio? Antoine, I'm sorry.
Antoine. Yeah, I got you.
That's 2 times.
All right. For me, doing the assignment, you know, it kind of like opened up, you know what I'm saying, a lot of wounds, kind of like, you know, that kind of like tucked away, you know what I'm saying, as going through so much as a kid. And then like the brother was saying when we was in class, you know, sometimes it feel like we was born into it, you know what I'm saying? We was born into it, you know what I'm saying? And then we only know what our family teach us, you know what I'm saying? And then for me, I'm trying to break the generational curse, because like, you know, same thing I was taught, I was teaching my kids, you know what I'm saying? And then like I got one, he in prison right now. You know what I'm saying? I got another one, he wilding out, you know what I'm saying? And then in the process of me trying to change around, I'm starting to see different views. I'm starting to see reality, you know what I'm saying, of life, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you know what? It's not all about this. We can change, you know what I'm saying? If I could change, I could teach my kids to change. I could teach my friends how to change, you know what I'm saying? So that's my hype. It's like, man, like, damn, I didn't look at it like that. I'm like, you know what? Damn, shit was fucked. Excuse my language. I'm like, you know, things was messed up, you know, coming up, you know what I'm saying? And it's a cycle, you know what I'm saying? It's from my uncles today, you know what I'm saying? They uncles to my cousins. And at the end, it was, you know what I'm saying? It was unhealthy. It was unhealthy family, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Relationship with my family was unhealthy. You know, they was in the streets and everything that they was doing, they was teaching us, oh, do this or do that, or this how you do this, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking it's cool, you know, you want them stripes, you like, okay, boom. And then now look at me now. Come on, man, over 18 years, know, in and out of prison. You know what I'm saying? I'm finally looking at reality. I'm finally realizing like, yeah, I was messing up, you know what I'm saying? And then taking the class and the way you break it down, you know what I'm saying? The core of the disease, you know what I'm saying? Power, domination, control. That was me. You know what I'm saying? I wanted that power, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to dominate, I wanted to control, you know what I'm saying? That was me. So it kind of like it was an eye opener for me. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, and you never should have been there. You never should have been there if you had been taught properly. And I will say that, taught properly, taught correctly. Those 18 years would have been completely different.
Yes.
But people can only pass on what they think is correct. Right?
Yes.
And it just, I got to say for both of you, because I know both of you you and Aaron both spent some time behind the walls. It's just wonderful to see you guys out. It's just, I can't say enough about that, man. You know, I've been to a whole prisons, you know, Quentin to Phoenix to you know, to Lompoc, and I hate seeing brothers caged. It ain't normal. But I know that unless, you know, I know what led them there, right? And I know it's really hard to change. It's really hard to change because this stuff it's been programmed. It's programmed into you, and a lot of times it's associated with your manhood. So, you know, I mean, I want to go further with you guys because I didn't get a chance to ask you when things started to click with you then, but I'll come back to that. But I just want to say it's glad to see you out. I don't know if you're off parole, but please give them their numbers back and get your name back.
Try.
Brandon, you want to talk about what that homework assignment was like for you?
For me, it was crazy because I couldn't figure out when I was infected, right? Like, and I was the one, like, I was born into this, right? And then I don't like to say that I was given bad information. They just taught me what they knew, right? So coming to this, it makes me know that I need to be deprogrammed so I can be reprogrammed to give out good. Because we're out here, we're helping these young people, but you said the best, and I stole it, and I'm keeping it in his mind, Doc. Good information with bad example leads to confusion. So I see I'm giving out some great information, but my example ain't where it already all on point 100% where it needs to be, right? So then the young people see confusion, right? Like, oh, well, if he can cuss or he talks like this, or if he's whatever I'm infected with, it shows, right? So I need to work on me, right? And it's just some residue that I'm holding on from how I was raised. There's these things in me that I'm holding on to that I need to let go. The commandments of violence is I'm holding on to them, not even knowing in the back of my head that I'm holding on to these things, and it shows up when I'm trying to help the young people. So that assignment was deep for me. You know what I'm saying? It made me think and have to relook at myself in a different way.
I remember when I hit all of you with that first commandment, thou shalt not snitch. You're like, what? What?
That's the hard for me. Yeah, I'm still.
What?
But the way you broke it down made me look at it different. Never.
Because
you know,
that's one of the earliest ones. You know, don't be a tattletale. You know, don't put your family business in the street. You know, what goes on in the family stays in the family. You know, that's the different versions of it. And you know, we just learned that, and you know, and it's so entrenched in the neighborhoods. It's so entrenched in the, you know, whether it be the ghetto or the hood, that, you know, I mean, just simple things like this purse gets stolen, you know, and you know, everybody in the third grade knows who did it, but we don't want to tell because, you know, we ain't gonna be no snitch, right? And you like the teacher, right? And I use those little bitty examples, it really becomes those big examples, right? And every time I do that one, they'd be like, oh man, I ain't, you know, so I know.
But the way you broke
Marshall, you know how
it
you be in class.
down,
Dr. Marshall, you know how you be in class and you done did something to somebody and they do like this to you? 3 o'clock. And you be sitting there scared looking at the thing like, oh, please, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to run, leave, something. I gotta go. I don't want to get caught up, you know?
Yeah.
hey, Doc, if you can, though, the way you broke down the snitching thing in the class, I still struggle with it, but it made sense what you said. Like, you at the beginning, you set it up how this is, I'm standing on this, or if you're doing something in my community, if you can touch on that for the people that.
Yep. And I am. Yeah, everybody know it. Everybody think, and everybody like, man, don't mess with that. This dude crazy. You
tell him your ass. That's funny.
You know, and it's funny because I'll even do it for people that wouldn't do it for me. You understand what I'm saying? You know, if I see something happen in your family, I'm telling. And this is real because right now we see things, and that's so green as we want to say nothing. And I know people wouldn't do it for me, but I'm gonna do it because I believe it's right. You know, it's right. I'm not gonna let somebody who's hurt my community run around and commit again. So that's always the one when I first put that first command over there, because we learned that so early. And you know, I've seen families just, I mean, and this is hard to hear, but it's true. You know, the family friend, I know family right now, I'm not gonna say the name, who was allowed to keep doing that, you know, to the girls in the family because, you know, they didn't want to say nothing. What? You know, I mean, you know, because they looked upon as putting the family, you know, so that got to go. Lady, you getting ready to say something because I see your
Read my language.
Your little light went off.
Big Kev was one of the young men that we worked with, and he spent quite a bit of time in San Quentin. Is that right, Dr. Marshall?
Yeah.
In San Quentin.
Yeah.
And he literally put himself in solitary confinement because of some of the things that he saw going on. But he shared with us, and he broke it down to the class about snitching. And he made it so clear until the kids in the class are like, oh, okay. He said he was getting ready to do some dirt. He had just pulled something, whatever it was. And he looked up and he saw the little old lady looking out the window. And she saw everything he did. And he said, damn, I'm going to prison. He said, because I know she gonna tell. But he didn't say he said, but she's not snitching. They're gonna ask her what she saw and she's gonna tell them the truth.
Yeah.
There was nothing he could do. When he looked up and saw her looking at him, he said, that's it. I'm done. You tell the truth. I ain't snitching. That just really made an impact on the young people that day.
And that's one that we have to continue to work on. Once you learn it, and it's in there, it's hard, man. There are some parts of that training of the prescription that are, you know, harder than other parts. And that commandment is at the top of the list. That's why it's number one. Because we just, you know, how many times it's funny, and it's not just telling. It ain't none of my business. That's the other thing. I'm not gonna get involved because, you know, all of that's part of being part of the infection. The other thing I want to say is, and just because folks are listening, they just like, ooh, they're picking up piece of this. This is because, you know, we just giving them little bits and pieces as we go forward. Is how normal the disease is, how normal everything is, you know, how normal the violence is, not just here, but worldwide. I mean, violence is the way of the world. And here we come saying, no, that ain't normal. You know, abnormal has become normal. And just tackling that whole idea of it don't have to be this way is really hard, which is why, you know, on the third day we went to the early African culture, so the way they thought differently, you know, about violence, and it didn't occur nearly as much as it does now. Let me ask about, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I want to ask. You guys can jump in as you want to, you know, say anything about and anything that resonated with you. Certainly that programming, the commandments, the germs, the bad advice, the bad information, the bad instruction, the bad example, those risk factors. Peer pressure defined as fearship. How you like that one? Somebody talk about that one. That's the other one that people are like, I never heard that before.
Aaron is cracking up. Y'all must have had a whole bunch of conversation about that.
A relationship's based on power, intimidation, or control, right? Anybody got a comment on the fearships in your life or seeing people that way? No, they don't have a comment on it. They laugh.
I'll comment on it. It's funny when you said that, because I'm gonna use Khalid as an example. We do that to each other, and you called us out in there. We joking and all, you know, like, but you don't really know. And it's a playful nature with us, though. But in real life, sometimes you know that you're even like I set myself up for that. Like you told me, like you gotta let go of some of the relationships that are not living how you're living, and it's okay to let go. But you be feeling like you owe them, or you can't let the homies down, even though you're out this life. You want to bring them over here with you, but you still hold on to them in an unhealthy way. And that's something we got to work on. And it's self-inflicted, like not somebody doing it to me, but me doing it to myself. And I don't know how to get out of that, but it's crazy to see it and be like, nobody's doing it to me, I'm doing it to myself, though. You know, like that's the craziest thing about that one for me.
And those fearship phrases keep you close, you know. You know, I'm telling you, man, and they work. You know, they really work. You know, you're not a team player. After all I've done for you, you're gonna leave me now. I mean, man, you know, I kept Tina in that fearship masquerading as love for years, right? Behind them phrases, right? If it wasn't, if I love you, or you gonna leave me after all I've done for you, he just kept her, and you put that commandment in there. Do you know that? You know the story of how Tina got with Ike? You remember that from the movie? You remember that? Her mother sold her to Ike. Yes, she sold her for like $300. I mean, isn't that something? You talk about material values over people. Thou shalt get that money on. She sold her daughter to Ike Turner. and see, when you get this thing, you can see it in all of these places. You'll even watch, and you notice you watch movies differently when you see it, right? You'd be like, now you got that alive and free lens. You'd be like, look at all that destructive language in there. Look at that negative view of women in there. Look at them fearships in there. Look at that material. She sold her own daughter, which is what human trafficking is about, right? You know, I mean, you know, money is more important than people. And it's funny, I'm reliving all this stuff as I'm talking to you. It's so much part of me that it's just wow. Every time I teach it, it just blows my mind, because I do it all over the world, and it's the same stuff everywhere. And that's what makes this so crazy. Talk about any other part of it that you want to, that impacted you, that reflected on destructive language. Oh yeah, y'all, man, that was
yeah, that's my biggest one. I need help with that big time. My husband says, as a woman, that's what me and him battle, because he be like, you always got to have the last word. You act like you the man in the relationship. Sometimes just be quiet. And I don't like the way you said, I guess. So with me, I think my guards are still up to where I feel what happened to me in my childhood. I'm carrying it into my marriage, far as being disrespected as a woman, or how I see how I should be treated as a woman from a
Right.
man, I guess.
Right.
And
Right.
so with that, it's like I had to protect myself in the street. And so my mouth, I can't say it came from my dad, because, you know, he was just speaking under alcohol, you know, the alcoholism, I guess, or whatever. But with me, my mouth is so foul. It's like, it's bad. And it's not good. It really don't look good on me. And so with that, my husband, like, you got to learn how to talk to a man and watch what you say around the kids. And you can't even stop cussing. I was like, huh? He said, I said, And I had to check myself, like, wow, that is that language. I'm just so it's just in me. And now I don't like that. So I have to work on my destructive language. Destructive is very destructive. And so I'm working on that. See, that's that treatment without the medicine. I'm telling you, that's what it was. And so, you know, woo, I'm getting the medicine, man. I'm getting it. It's gonna take some time, but I'm getting it.
Like, some people got their Bible, you got your Alive and Free prescriptions book. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I mean, the problem with destructive language is that we don't know it's destructive. That's just how we talk. We all N's, we all B's. What you tripping for? You know, H is this. We got a word. We just be tearing each other down, and like it's cool. Or we flip it and we make it endearing, right? And it's yeah. You just I'm watching that scene from Boys in the Hood. It's so good to see all of it right there on the porch, right? It's just like it's all right there. And, you know, and you listen to the music and, you know, I mean, you know, and then we make it part of our culture. You know, I mean, it's cultural.
I think that's a big one for me, the language, because like you said, it's a cultural thing. So my mom, without knowing, is very destructive with her language. You know, she's been like that since I've been born, you know, but it's been passed down to her, just seeing how that language is and being able to identify it as destructive and then saying, okay, so now we have to start here. This is the first thing we have to start. We have to start with here with how we talk to each other and then how we talk to our children, you know what I'm saying? Because my daughter, man, she's already getting it from social media. You know, she's social media and the music is going to get to her first. So if I can at least stop it in the house where she doesn't hear it from me, then maybe we can work on the social media and the music next. But it has to start with us.
Yeah. Aaron, you going to say something?
Yeah, I definitely agree that it got to start with us. It's funny because after coming back from the training, like, I didn't really realize how much I cuss, but you know, my 3-year-old is like, Daddy, don't say that. So, you know, the Alive and Free training, I'm getting it from him at the age 3. Daddy, don't do that. Don't say that. So, you know, he my correction. So it's like he helping me, so I gotta help him. You know, it's
nice.
But you know, the lesson comes from any age, though.
Yeah. That's really nice. That's really nice. You may not be able to do anything about the family you come from, but you can do everything about the family you create. Or, and a child shall lead them. That's not. I think that's apropos. That's apropos right there. Remember, destructive languages are nouns or names that we call people that just, you know, tear them down. Remember, every culture's got their destructive language. You know, that's why I like doing that thing about when America goes to war, how it comes up with words to dehumanize people so that the object is to kill them. So yeah, I'm glad you're thinking about it. But because it's a habit, right? It's like, you know, you've been talking that way for however old you've been. And now you say, what? I mean, you know, by the way, I watched a couple of them shows. See, I watch the shows now just to see how infected the reality TV shows are. And man, like I say, the women don't have first names. They do at the beginning of the show, and then during the rest of the show, they all B's And then at the end, they roll the credits and I learned their real name. So this is just a part of our learned behavior that contributes to, to the violence and the incarceration. Tell us a little bit about Seattle, you guys, my Seattle folks. What's it like there? What's it like there? I think I know because I've been there, but for our audience, is it just tell a little about the stuff, with regards to violence that's going on in Seattle. Oh, somebody from Seattle. Go ahead, Ken. You can do it.
Go ahead, B.
Seattle is right now in Seattle. We got a whole sections warring against each other. So you got certain parts of the city. If you ain't from over there, you can't go. This is for our young people. Violence is at a higher rate than it's been usually in Seattle. We got young people that, for example, that we work with that we can't even put together. We got to keep them separate. So if we got, say, just for instance, we got a group of 20 young people, we got to do 10 and 10 because we can't put them together because of, it's bloodshed already. So we got that going on. You got a lot of misleading, older people using their younger people, and they're just not sharp enough to catch it, or they like it, and then you got a lot of I don't give a F attitudes running around when I really think they do care, but they're running around saying they don't. So right now we're trying to navigate, figure out how it's hard, right? Once blood is shed, it's hard to stop it until certain individuals die or go to jail. And that's sad to say, but it's the truth. Yeah. We're trying to figure out a way that nobody has to die or go to jail and stop the beef, but it's hard, right? We got great relationships with both sides, but I don't know how to stop. Once blood is shed, people want their lick back, and I be trying to tell them you can never kill an enemy. You taught us that. Somebody else just gonna come up and then you kill him. It's just gonna keep on going. So we're really at a disadvantage down here as far as that goes, and just looking for answers for real, Yeah.
And just to
colleague either Ken or Toyra, I want to speak on it.
Just to piggyback off that, we're at a very low percentage of just African Americans, period, in our city, and with that low percentage, we're at a higher percentage of in prison. So we don't have that many. So every time somebody dies, we know them. It's not like out of the people that we work with, there's no way that it's gonna be somebody that dies that's Black that we don't know. And the people we work with, because of the small percentage. And so and then out of that percentage, 70% of it is Black on Black violence. Mm-hmm. So it's really heavy here because we're at a small percentage, and because the destructive language starts all the way back. It's just a cultural thing. And then you look at it as far as those commandments, the police department lives off that. You know what I'm saying? Those are their commandments too. Yep. So it's everywhere around you, you know what I'm saying? And here you come with this vaccine. It's like in our city right now, we can't even go to a restaurant or a bowling alley without having the vaccine cards visible. We have to show them. We have to, you know what I'm saying? But people are going to make the generic ones and do what they do. So, but it's just saying that it's like that. The infection's like that, everywhere you go, you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty heavy here with the percentages that we have. So it's definitely challenging.
Yeah.
And another thing, go ahead. No, I'm just going to say that it's like, once you're out the game, your voice is not heard as loud as it used to be. So yeah, we might have been somebody running around, but once you're not running around in the streets no more, they listen to you when you're around, but once you leave, they go back to doing what they're doing. Right. And the people that are in these positions that are older than them, they're cool with each other. They're not even, but their younger dudes are beefing with each other. And I never understood how you can be cool, but let our little dudes fight each other and shoot each other. We're not doing that, So that's another thing we're dealing with, like the people that are in position of power that could stop it, just letting them run amok and do whatever. And so that's what we're doing in Seattle.
Yeah. Yeah. Once it gets going, it's hard to stop. It is. Look, and then, use COVID as an example, and then it mutates, it mutates into another, it's still just a different strain, same stuff, so I admire you for being a doctor, and that was the first thing I said the first day. You're just like doctor, going in there and treating people, trying to prevent them from getting infected in the first place, and because you know what it's going to end up, and it's, the way it ends up is ain't nobody going to be happy. Aaron and Antoine, you work for Safe Return, and I know about Safe Return, but talk about, again, noble work. Talk about the work that Safe Return does and how you got involved. And let me just shout out our girl, Tamisha Walker, who's probably watching and listening. And I remember when she first came to the training, she was like, I'm still infected. That's the first thing she said. I'm trying to help these brothers get out and stay out, and I'm still infected. But talk about the work that Safe Return does and the work that you're doing.
Well, I got involved with Safe Return through somebody who I actually went to high school with. She texted me and was like, man, I think you should do this. This is a good opportunity for you. So, I left the job that I had and went to Safe Return. The first 6 months of the Richard Boy Fellowship Program is all about, dealing with yourself, and it's like, if you can't deal with yourself, you can't be real with yourself, you just in the program for no reason. Mm-hmm. The second 6 months is, shadowing the organizers. My experience with it has been absolutely great. It's broken me out of my shell as far as like not wanting to talk a lot. So I mean, I'm still nervous about that, but it is what it is. That's been my experience with Safe Return. I thank Tamisha and Shayla both for the opportunity.
And I don't want to presuppose and say what Safe Return is, but so if any want to give the standard definition, Safe
Return also deals with the formerly incarcerated. It helps the homeless, have a lot of resources for the homeless, be able to deal with medical issues, housing issues. It's a re-entry center that Safe Return helped open up on McDonald. So, they got their hands in other stuff and dealing with the youth as well. So, they deal with the youth work as well.
Antoine?
For me, a few years ago, I got out of prison and I started working. Right, so I thought like by me working so many hours and now really being in the streets, I thought I was in the process of changing. And then I ended up catching a federal case. And then my wife, she knew Tamisha. And so she had introduced me to Collective Impact. So I had to Collective Impact last year. So through Collective Impact, they kind of like teach you about the like the risk factors, trauma, healing, and stuff like that. So after I completed it was like a 15-week course. After I completed it, they told me about Safe Return, how they help informally incarcerated individuals. So I ended up signing up with it. And then as I signed up with it, I started learning more about myself, how to change, not what I think was changed, because he was like, okay, I'm out, I'm working. But at the same time, I was like, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out, saying?
Yeah.
So I ended up sitting down, I ended up meeting Tamisha through my wife. So she put me in Safe Return. for the first 6 months, it was like to help yourself, you know what I'm saying, to learn yourself and what kind of help do you need, you know what I'm saying, to find the solution for yourself, you know. So I went through the little first 6 months, and then I learned a lot, you know what I'm saying. I went through different little courses about the healing, the trauma. I started learning about trauma, about PTSD, and the emotional residue. So then they started teaching us about giving back to the community. You know what I'm saying? I never gave back to the community. I was always the one that was hurting my community. You know what I'm saying? So now I got the opportunity to give back, you know what I'm saying, to the community, to help people, you know what I'm saying, to help my neighbors, you know what I'm saying, help the homeless, help other informally incarcerated individuals who's getting out, that's looking for a change, you know what I'm saying, but don't know how to do it, like myself, you know what I'm saying. I didn't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't take re-entry classes in prison. I didn't take certain programs, but in my mind, I'm like, okay, I got this. But then when I caught the case, I really told myself, like, damn, how you pushing forward, but at the same time, you didn't took 20 steps back now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you fighting a whole new case for something that you shouldn't even been fighting for, but which I didn't know. I was traumatized. You know what I'm saying? Like I was explaining before, me and my mom was a victim of gun violence. You know what I'm saying? You know, my mom, she's paralyzed, chest down. You know what I'm saying? So I got a lot of anger. You know what I'm saying? And then I was reacting to it. You know what I'm saying? I was reacting to it. I'm in the streets. I'm like, skip everything that I was going through. I'm like, I'm full-fledged at it. You know what I'm saying? It's revenge. But as I've been going through safe return, it been teaching me how to think different now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, your life is on the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you could be gone, or you could be dead, or you could get beyond that. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we was in a class, you was talking about respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the definition of respect? You know what I'm saying? So my thing was, if you disrespect me, I'm gonna disrespect you to the max. You know what I'm saying? I didn't give an F attitude, So I pushed for that. That was my attitude. I didn't care, But now, through the training and the healing, I'm starting to learn new things about life. I'm starting to learn reality of life. You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying in the class, a warrior respect a warrior. You know what I'm saying? Your enemy, you can never kill your enemy. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I was going through. Me and my friends and this other, you know what I'm saying, whatever, we was back and forth. And it'd been going on for years and years and years. And then I had to really sit down and think about it. I was like, you know what? I got a newborn kid up in there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they're going to be doing life on death row, or they're going to be burying me. You know what I'm saying? So what's your choice? You know what I'm saying? Either keep pushing or push for the better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm learning now through safe return how to communicate with my community, to give back, you know what I'm saying, to help other people that was stuck in the same struggle that I was stuck in, you know what I'm saying? So I love it, you know what I'm saying, even with this live and free, and I love it live and free, because I'm like, you know what, for one, I'm alive and I'm free, you know what I'm saying? Because
that's it. You win. You win.
I'm winning, exactly. And that's how I feel like, you know what, I'm here now, you know what I'm saying? It could have been a different way.
And your wife win too. And your wife win. Let me give her some love.
Yes. She because she put me onto it. You know what I'm saying? She she do community organizing too. So I'm here, and I'm trying to be a better person. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get back to my community. You know what I'm saying? Especially the youngins. You know what I'm saying? That is lost. You know what I'm saying? And don't have no direction. I was that one that was lost, and I didn't have no direction. You know what I'm saying? It was all about respect. So respect was my thing. Respect. You know what I'm saying? Get your name out there. You want respect. You know what I'm saying? Fearship versus friendship. You know what I'm saying? A destructive family, destructive neighborhood. That was me. You know what I'm saying? I'm from the projects. Okay, whoopty whoop. I need my name out there. But now, the way I'm thinking now is like, you know what? It ain't even about that no more. You know what I'm saying? We have to elevate in life. And so right now, I'm trying to elevate in life. And this is where I'm at right now. At this point, I'm elevating, but at the same time, I still do have my struggles, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I still have my emotional residue, you know what I'm saying? No matter how hard I try, it's some things, it triggers certain things. I'll be like, ooh, I gotta, like, okay, Twan,
I know.
I got this, but yeah, I'm here.
And think about it. Each of you have talked about your own individual trauma. And but we've been treated this way since we hit the shores. I mean, just think about it. Just the generational trauma. We've been traumatized since they ripped us out of that, whatever village they ripped us out of, put us in the Middle Passage, which was trauma. It's all trauma. It's all trauma. It's all, hanging, lynching, shooting, police shootings, all this. And a lot of times, all we could pass on to each other was the trauma. I always say a lot of times that's why we got so many comedians to laugh through our pain, right?
Exactly.
From crying. And, we never really have addressed all of that. We just keep going. But it has an effect. And a lot of times we just give into it and say, F it, and you just, and yeah, folks don't get that. They really don't get that. I talk to folks who are not in this, don't look like us, right? And they get it. They get the words, but they don't get all that. They couldn't because, they didn't write laws against them. They didn't hang them. They didn't. I mean, there's some stories that when you go back and look at it, when you look at the truth, you can see how this is just passed on and in our trying to survive, we end up taking our pain out on each other, whether it be our families or guys in the neighborhood. And figuring that out is you're not going to figure that out unless somebody shows it to you, because it's just they don't even like teaching this stuff in school. I mean, can you imagine learning this? What we talking about, in a classroom in school? Remember, I taught a Black history class when I first started teaching, and it was the best thing in the world because those kids had no idea that they were. My phrase is colluding in your own oppression. That's my favorite phrase. You going along with the master plan. They don't even know there is a plan. I just don't like this dude next to me. Right? You mentioned respect, each of you. That to me is always one of the highlights of the 3 days, because that's such a powerful concept and no one can disrespect you if you respect yourself. And I don't know if you've been gone for about a week now. I know if you heard that word flipped around, how people are disrespected. I've heard that Dwight Howard has been totally disrespected because he was left off the 75 best players in the history of the NBA. And it was the way they said it. They disrespected Dwight Howard. And I'm like, no, they just left his name off. I mean, but they didn't say they disregarded him. The way they said it was designed to get Dwight Howard like, I'm gonna go kill somebody for leaving me off that list. When you go that word, when you hear it, it's like, man, people are really fragile. That's just somebody's opinion of you, right? That don't mean you weren't good, Dwight, but he ain't got me and you in his ear. He got all them other people in his ear, man. And I don't know if you heard that word thrown about and have you reacted to it as you heard it? I'm curious. Has it surfaced for you in any way since the training? I hear it all the time, and it's a big deal with people. Okay, all right. Remember the rule: no one can disrespect you if you respect yourself. And I always say, don't say you disrespected me. Say the action. You hurt me. You stepped on my shoe. You did this. You did that. You say, don't say I feel disrespected. Say I feel hurt. I feel this, and so on and so forth. That'll help. But you're gonna hear it, man. You're gonna be like, dude, how's that disrespect? he just don't think you that good. You better know how good you are. But I know how people think. Anything we haven't covered, you want to cover, and yeah.
My favorite thing from the whole training is that dang balloon, man. If we could just,
yeah.
if we, in my perfect world, we all walked around with our balloon visible, we would know who to stay away from and who to be cautious of, because I think we all have that balloon, man, mine's is big, and I'm trying to learn how to slowly but surely get some of that air out, but I think that that balloon was the most challenging thing. And when I realized it, that everybody that I've told it to and I've made them do it, they're like, man, that's powerful. If we could just walk around with our balloons visible, maybe we have a better world.
Yeah, that balloon. Absolutely. Yeah. Anything else? Go ahead.
You know, Dr. Marshall, for me, my for this work that I'm doing, my nephew was murdered. It'll be 2 years, December 29th. And so I had to deal with telling my boss that I didn't want to take certain kids on my caseload because I didn't know who murdered my nephew.
Right.
And so it was hard for me to do my job because I wasn't trying to help no one else. I was trying to really just look for the person who murdered my nephew in the sense of why I'm doing the work that I'm doing to save them. And so I had to come to the conclusion that I didn't get into this work to my own personal, I didn't get into this work not to help. I got into this work to help and give back to the community. So it was scary a little bit because I was like, I don't know if any of one of these kids can be involved with murdering my nephew and they're in the car with me and I could get taken out because, it wasn't resolved it wasn't told to us at first, but now that they found the person, last month, and I went to court to see who it was, I'm more at ease. And now I feel I can do my work 100% without having that fear of, helping the kid. In the midst of me helping the kid, also, it could be someone that just murdered my nephew, So I'm glad that fear part that I had, and also that the anger part, the revenge part that I wanted to get back to whoever did that to my nephew and not help them with their case a little bit, like sabotage. I didn't want that. I wanted my soul to be pure and really do good and help these kids in the community come together, because it's really sad that up here in Seattle is so small, everybody know everybody, and really our friends' kids is killing each other's kids.
Yep.
And then it's turning against, we turn against each other because, it's just so unhealthy up here that, like I said, for me, I told my boss, I said, for every African-American and brown organization that's trying to help the kids here in Washington, I feel that they all need to take your training so we all could be on one accord up here, being that every organization know everybody. We all know each other. So for us to be doing this work in the community here, we all have to be on one accord. And for me, I feel your Alive and Free would get us there on one accord to start healing our community up here in Washington. And that's what I want to actually have, put that out there like, hey, you guys, we got to come together to try to start. It got to start with us. If we're going to be in the community trying to make a change, we all got to do it together, I feel.
The nice thing about the Alive and Free prescription is no matter what work you're doing, it'll help. It doesn't take away from anything that I don't think it takes away from anything you're doing. If you're a job training organization, or if you losing athletes to the street, hey, let me tell you something. The church loses kids because they don't know nothing about this. They know about the Moses 10 commandments. They don't know nothing about the commandments of violence, right? So they got so-and-so playing in the choir. The next thing they know, he out there all wilding out on the block because they don't know nothing about this part. So I would agree. This could benefit anybody. Any piece of it can benefit anybody. Lady E, you want to?
My heart goes out to you at the loss of your nephew, even though it's been 2 years. I know there are times it was just like yesterday. And once that was resolved, it's never really resolved. But for you to be able to have peace in the degree that you're able to, that I'm glad that happened for you. I'm also grateful that you've been able to get yourself in a place where you can go ahead and keep working for and making a difference for the lives of young people. I pray for your safety and your well-being, your courage, I celebrate your courage, each of you, the work that you do, because yeah, it touches your heart, and then when it touches the family, I understand personally exactly just how hard that can be. And so, yeah, my prayers go out to you, all of you, especially your journey.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We gave you some pills and we gave you some rules. Let's start with those pills. Let's see if anybody can remember any of them. Those coachisms. Things we said you could use right away. And y'all know my favorite one right away. Only one bad decision away. I'm telling you, man, that is like as good as gold. I'm telling you, man, you talk about.
You took that right out my mouth.
Hey,
You can have
he did. Hey, I was just about to say that too.
That's the best one, man. And that's the one that I use daily. Like, just one bad decision. And it's because I've got friends that I've seen that, some of the smartest people I've never met, man. And one bad decision, man, and they're stuck in there, man. They don't get to come out, And so that one is very powerful because it's really real. It shows you how much you have to give yourself that daily prescription, man, that daily dose, that daily bread of just positivity. Because one bad decision away versus a lot of bad advice and influences, you know what I'm saying, and infectedness. So yeah, that's the number one for me every day. Yeah. One bad decision away.
Any others that you like or use? There's a whole bunch of them on that.
For me, it was you should find the king in yourself. You know what I'm saying? As far as Martin Luther King, when we was talking about respect.
Oh, find the king in you. Yeah.
Find the king in yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Oh man, that man.
This is a coachism.
Y'all, the Dr. King's lawyer, man. I'm gonna have a talk with him next week. Wow. Okay, great.
Lady E said one. She said that weak is going along with. Can I say it? Weak is going along with shit ain't shit. That's when we was talking about being weak, and I was like, that stood out to me. I be using that with my young people. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's weak, and then I'll say that to them, and they be like, now that you'll hear them saying it a little bit. So thank you. That's a good one.
And then Lady Estelle said one that I really like, and it's listen to your background music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been seeing people now, and I be looking and like, I wonder what their background music is. You know what I'm saying? Because what my background music is, and it does guide you. If you can really listen to that and pay attention to that, I find that it does guide you. It does, and I appreciate that. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
That background music is the good one, because you'd be like, okay, that was God and that's the devil. You already know which one it is. Don't play. That's, you know what I'm saying? Because your music can be that first instinct, that good one, and then that negative, and it's like you already know which one is God, and you're gonna have to go with that one. And so to me, I look that's my background too, and it brought it to forefront. Like, yeah, that's it. Background music. Pay attention.
Any other coachism that from that long list that you like? There's plenty of them on there. I'm gonna give you one just for you. Remember, when you work with these young people, they infected, right? So don't be yelling and screaming at them, because you were there, right? And you know how hard it is. You was in that mindset at one point, but some get it right away, some get it sooner or later, some never get it. We don't know who's who. That's why we give it to everybody. So just, they get it in their own time, in their own way, but you're there, to give them the information and to support them as they do get it. I think that's good for people who are doing the work. Understand they don't do it in your time. They do it in their time. And that programming is in there. You know how it is. It's hard to chip away and get it out of there. A whole lot of emotions tied up in that program. Any other coachism?
Yeah, one of the things I took away from it was that all men make mistakes. Learn from them and never do it again, right?
Yes.
So that's one of the things that I've been pushing with the youth that I've been dealing with Wednesdays and Fridays. You know, we talked about prison and stuff already. So, you know, they done already been incarcerated and stuff. So it's like, learn from that, man, you know, and don't hit the next level for me, you know, because I come from where they come from. So, you know, I look at them as like, man, y'all are a reflection of me from what I used to be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we got to get it together, man. You know, and
Right.
some of, you know, they range from the ages of 12 to 17.
Yeah.
You know, so I figure, you know, we catch them now, man. Some of, we ain't gonna be able to get all of them, but
Right.
you know, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Also, the one with the hurting people, hurt people.
Yep.
And that right there is the main, to me, is the number one, because in so many ways we all hurting,
Mhm.
you know, and not realizing that we're hurting, but we also inflicting that hurt on someone else,
Mhm.
you know. So that's something that I have to work on, because I be like, I ain't hurt, but then I look at like, I must still be hurting because I am hurting her. You know what I'm saying? And then I have to think about, what am I hurting about? And then I have to figure that out to start dealing with that. So I won't continue to hurt that person or hurt anyone, let alone, you know. And it's just like with my situation, this lady who's an attorney was like, hey, how about I could get you some money if you want to tell your story. She's like, the state let you down and they left you in a foster system and you had to fend for yourself. I said, but if we do that, I'll be hurting my mama. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to hurt my mama because she hurt me. And she was like, but what about your pain? I was like, man, I'm good. I'm all right. She said, no, you're not all right. You're not all right. I said, I am. But I seen that all she wanted was the money part. It was all about money. Like you said, everything is that money. And I was looking like, she's not really trying to help me. She's trying to get her ratings up. But at the same time, for me, I was looking at like, you want me to tell this story, my story, but in the midst of this, I'll be hurting my mom because she got to saying, what's your mom's name on Facebook? I was like, no, I don't want to do it. So it's just like, I don't want to hurt people. You know what I'm saying? I want to begin to start healing and making sure my pain that I'm dealing with is not being inflicted among the young people that I work with. And I had to be vulnerable to let them know, hey, I'm hurting and this is why I'm hurting. And I'm being honest to you guys to let you know this is my story and this is why I'm doing the work that I'm doing to help you guys overcome what you're coming through.
Well said.
That's some powerful stuff right there. That's some powerful stuff. You are doing the work and that's what it takes. I want to talk a little bit about, I'm just to piggyback on what you said. That's listen to your background music. And it was subtle. It was real subtle. That part of you that said, well, now that would be hurting my mother. See, where did that come from? See, that's, you know, sometimes a voice is not real big. It's like, don't do it. No, you are developing a relationship with that part of you that's going to guide you, protect you, and keep you. That's important. But for everybody else, and for every one of us, did I say us? Yes, who likes to cuss, anybody who knows me knows, I think it's the funniest thing in the world. I had an uncle, and my uncle would come over to the house as a little girl, and he would say, what time is it before Dr. Mercer? He'd say, Dorothy, how the hell are you? And my mother would say, Sonny boy, stop all that cussing in front of my kids. He said, oh shit, I ain't cussing. And I tell you what, that just made my day. I just cracks me up. But let me just say, it just cracks me up. So I am definitely one who uses expletives. What's that word? Expletives. Okay, so listen to me good. When you feel the need to use those words, remember, destructive language is not just cussing. It is words that hurt, harm, and demean. And what I heard you say is, I'm not willing to hurt anybody. We talk about what we want, not what we don't want. So pay attention to stay away from saying what you don't want, Because talking about what you don't want, it will surely show up. But be clear about what you want. I want to use the kind of language that's going to support people, that's going to build them up. And when you feel the words coming up, think about, is it going to hurt them or is it going to clarify? See, my curse words, my expletives are like exclamation points. They are punctuation marks. Can you hear me? As soon as I hit one of them words, you know it's a exclamation point or a comma. And if I have to put a semicolon in there to make sure they understand what I'm saying. But I did not use those words to hurt anybody, to put anybody down, to make them feel bad. Because what comes out of me, I'm responsible for. And I'm only going to be responsible for support, love, encouragement, or else I'll go to the, I'm not going to. So remember, for those of you who just feel it coming, is it going to hurt them? And then you just, okay. But if you got some exclamation points, all right. Thank you, Dr. Marshall. Thank you. Stefan has his hand up.
Yeah, you were there with me. You've seen many of these. Say what you want to this wonderful group of street soldiers.
Doc, I mean, when you asked me to come on, and I was kind of reluctant because this group was so powerful, the willingness to take off their masks immediately when they walked in the room, because I've been to a lot of trainings and I sit back and I just observe, I don't say much. But the willingness for them to come in that room and take off the mask immediately when they walked in the room, they all took off their mask and they started sharing and talking. And during the breaks, I would ask a few questions, and just the willingness to take off the mask and share their stories, not full stories, but just part of what was going on with them in their lives. And then to take the training immediately. A lot of people take the training and the first thing they do is hit the streets and apply it to other people. They took it immediately and immediately applied it to themselves. And I was just sitting here listening just now, just listening. They didn't talk about other people as much. They talked about how they applied to their lives and how it's changed them immediately. So that's what I'm hearing. I'm just wow, just the ability. A lot of people don't take off their mask so soon. They usually hold it in and they pull Mr. Stell to the side, or they pull you to the side, or they pull me to the side. But this group immediately was willing to take off their mask and come clean. So thank you.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tonight. Thank you so much. It's rare that I get to have this feedback from a group at a training, and this was only 5 of y'all. I don't even have the other 15, but you represent, well, your group. It was great training. It was a lot of fun, and once again, as a teacher, there's nothing better than a teacher, putting this material out there and the material, taking hold and making sense. And it's just a joy of teaching, it really was. And I know if you get it, you got a chance, you increase your chances to stay alive and free, and you increase somebody else's chances to stay alive and free. And that's why it's called alive and free, period. That's the goal, alive and free, alive and free. That's it. Not, way too much RIP, way too much dead homies t-shirts, way too much. No, I'm too sick of that. I don't want that. We don't want that. We want to see all y'all get old. I was very fortunate. My parents died at 97 and 94 of natural causes. That's the way it's supposed to be. And ain't supposed to be no gunshots. Now there's other insanity that goes on. Because it don't hurt nobody but us and the people that we love. So thank you so much. I thank Luther for hooking it up. Thank Tamisha for the work that she does. It's God's work. Thank you for doing God's work. And we'll let you go tonight. Of course, we'll be in touch. Come to Seattle in a heartbeat. That ain't no problem. In a minute, And you know, we'll see you over a safe return. In fact, we can all go on the road.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm ready too. Let's do this.
The world needs alive and free.
Let's get it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
All right, thank you, Doc.
Gotta say good night, y'all.
Bye.
All right, thank you.
Good night, y'all.
Last night.
Love y'all.
All right.
Good night.